SETO no Hanayome may not sound like the best show seeing as it's mermaid themed and brings up all kinds of Splash flashbacks or splashbacks. Splash was a fun comedy, don't get me wrong, but an entire anime series like that hardly sounds worth it. And yet, here is a guilty pleasure I don't even feel all that guilty about enjoying. The plot sees a young dude, Nagasumi, almost drowned before getting saved by a mermaid called Sun. All should be well that ends well, except that humans aren't really meant to know about mermaids, mermen, and all that crap. So Nagasumi is brought in to meet Sun's family, who are basically mobsters, and he is given the choice to either die or marry Sun. It's a really random sitcom plot, but boy do they make the most of it. We follow Nagasumi and Sun as they try to make their impromptu engagement work, and Sun's father goes apeshit trying to resist the urge to destroy Nagasumi. Along the way, the couple get into all sorts of crazy situations and a whole bunch of new characters are introduced. I'll admit I was a little disappointed to see the show essentially become another high school comedy since the series initially opens on a holiday setting. But with the exception of a couple of school trip episodes, that's never really the focus. Usually, it's just an easier way to introduce certain characters. Members of the SETO group include Masa, who is the subject of the longest, funniest running joke of the entire series, and the strangest twist as well. The guy gives CPR to Nagasumi once, or twice I guess, and from then on the kid can't look at Masa without remembering that first kiss and losing it. You've also got Shark Fujishiro, who is a shark and just wants to eat Nagasumi. Maki, a tiny assassin with the ability to be adorable one second and deadly the next. And last but not least, Octopus Nakajima, a giant octopus who appears whenever a particular joke demands it. Then there's Nagasumi's parents, who find themselves a little lost in this whole thing. The mother also has an unhealthy crush on Masa. Lunar Edomae is Sun's childhood rival slash friend who is always competing with her despite being a wealthy pop star herself. Her father, who is basically Arnold Schwarzenegger, a tall Terminator-like dude who says I'll be back and enjoys wearing girl sailor uniforms? Okay.
I'll be back.
Finally, you have Saru, Nagasumi's monkey-esque friend, Mawari, the high school police gal, the class rep, Mawari's quiet friend who later reveals feelings for Nagasumi, Kai, some super rich dude with a submarine and a phobia of open spaces, and Akeno, a mermaid examiner. Don't ask. As you can see, the show never lacks characters. Luckily, what SETO no Hanayome does with its many characters is really entertaining and, more importantly, very funny. The humor is very much pure slapstick, with characters reacting to events in over-the-top ways and changing their faces completely depending on what's going on, but it's done so well and so many of the jokes are so creative that you'll find it hard to resist the show's nutty sense of humor. It also helps that the characters are this well defined and this likable. The stories never get too serious, even right at the end when everyone comes together to battle a common enemy. Actually, sometimes they even go overboard. One episode sees Nagasumi drink some magical mermaid drink and become Godzilla tall. He becomes a kaiju. Another is a two-part song contest that goes on forever. Another sees the fathers dressed like little girls in order to better understand their daughters. It's not always consistent, okay, but it's always really fun. Minor gripes I have with the show would have to be the score, which can be pretty repetitive, the lack of development when it comes to some subplots, that happens a lot in anime I'm starting to notice, and the lack of variety settings wise. Other than that, I really enjoyed the show and I do recommend it. SETO no Hanayome, aka My Bride is a Mermaid, is Splash on steroids. It takes the film's concept, adds gallons more madness to it, and ultimately makes it epic. It's a hysterical ride and it's not as inaccessible or as girly as it sounds, despite the all too adorable intro. So don't get put off by the mermaid plot. Overall, it's just a heck of a lot of fun.
マサさん